If you're watching this video and you're in your 20s and you feel like time is just ticking away, oh, you have a good reason to feel that way. Trust me. I mean, as one of the eldest members of Gen Z, as a 27-year-old man, I mean, I could vouch for this. Look at the way that we're living. I mean, we spend half of our day or most of our day doom scrolling on our phones or looking at highlight reels of people we barely know. And then we wonder why we're sitting here feeling like garbage. We eat poorly because it's convenient. And then hours later, we wonder why we have no energy to do what we actually want to do. And that clock just keeps on ticking. And that doesn't even include the financial side. I mean, we're told throughout our childhood and our teenagerhood and our early adulthood to really fear being an adult. So we delay it, with buffer years. We take out massive loans for degrees that we don't really want, just so that we could stay in student mode and pass it off to our parents and then we're not stuck with the bill. But oh wow, all of a sudden you're in your late 20s and you've done nothing at all. I mean, Gen Z, like if you're in your 20s, just know that you are technically set up to do the absolute worst in the job market, the housing market, and the economic situation than any generation. But what's crazy is so much of us know that information, and then we turn around and we buy cars we can't afford on 72-month loan plans just to feel successful, just to have something. I don't really know. Whether you want to hear it or not, every credit card balance and every high interest car payment, it's just a chain. You aren't failing because you're lazy in this situation. You're failing because you're weighed down by the weight of your life. You're trading your 20s in for tokens, and that's the time when you should be most free. But you're trading in those 20s for a bunch of stuff that just locks you into a job that you hate or a situation that's imperfect because you're buying an aesthetic of a life instead of building an actual practical one. And I'm not sitting here preaching saying like, oh, I'm so much better than you. I have my life figured out. My car loan, I do have a car loan for my Honda Civic, and it is on a 72-month payment plan. It originated as a lease. I leased a car from Honda, and then I segued it into a lease buyout, so now I have a loan. That wasn't a good idea. I've got a 7+% interest rate on a $10,000 loan, and I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, I better pay this thing down. I'm not trying to pay interest, but I've already paid so much of it. I've had this loan for like 36 months so far. Not a good idea. But let's go ahead and backtrack. So I actually got that lease when I was 22. The decision that I made at 22 that was poor to get that lease, it's still biting me to this day. And if I would have actually went with practicality forward instead of trying to have like a nice new car that's going to look better than my beater that I drove before it, then I wouldn't be weighed down by my car payment. Thankfully, it's not that much, but it really could be a lot higher. You probably know plenty of people in your life with a $500+ car payment, and that's not even including any other bills or insurance or anything. So if I'm catching you up to the situation, your day looks like this. You're doom scrolling the whole day away. You're on social media all day. You're popping open TikTok and getting absolutely nothing out of it. And then you go to a job you don't like that has nothing to do with your degree while you're pursuing a further degree because you have no idea what you want to do with your life. And you got a car that is way above your head in terms of how much it costs to maintain, to keep it going. And that's your transportation to get to the situation that you don't like. And you're supposed to navigate this non-ideal situation in the worst economic situation that any generation has ever had to go through in modern history. And it's crazy because I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been making the poor decision. I've been making the good decision. I've been avoiding the future, and I've been going headfirst into it. And I could tell you, the part that a lot of people don't tell you is that adulthood is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Something just clicked when I turned 23 that really changed me in a big way. I felt a weight of responsibility in the future and retirement and saving and getting debt out of the way that propelled me forward. And whether that wave hits you in your 20s or your 30s or God forbid your 40s, it's gonna happen. Life is gonna keep going on whether you're prepared or not. And are you gonna have the loadout in your kit, or are you gonna be caught with your pants down? That's really what this is. I wish I could coddle you. I wish we could all be coddled and everything's going to be okay and everybody gets what they want and everybody, doesn't get upset. But that's not the situation we're in. That's not the game we're playing. You could stay asleep all your life, but there's still something outside going on, and you should probably be a part of it. People talk about growing up like it's a funeral for all things fun, and I get that. I understand. It's like, oh, you're washed, bro. You're unk. But it really is like the opposite. Being an adult means you finally have the power to curate a world for yourself, because that world's going whether you decide to take control of it or not. Why would you not do it? At this point, I'm 27 years old. I'm pretty happy. I work my job in accounting. I come home to a house that I own, thankfully, and I live with my girlfriend. I got 3 cats. I cook most meals for myself. I've got a decent friend group, and I have an okay amount of time to get my gym goals in as well. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm pretty happy. There's a piece in that stability that no high score or amount of doom scrolling or debt consolidation loan can really ever touch or take away from me. Now, I might be a little bit of an outlier. I'm somebody who's definitely invested in self-improvement. I've always kind of been that way. But I gotta say, like, even if you don't have like specific motivation, do it selfishly. Do it because realize that the other option is way harder. You have to pick what flavor of something difficult you want to do. Would you rather work harder than usual or be unprepared and get absolutely knocked on your back? It's a pretty clear answer. And for real, when you get your finances right, when you stop paying interest to people who don't even know you for junk that you don't even need, you get the power to say yes to things, you get the power to say no to things. You keep windows and doors open in your life, and you never know when an opportunity comes your way. And I've seen a lot of people who are given a situation, and unfortunately, they closed too many doors in their life to take it. What would otherwise be an amazing opportunity or a duty for them to do the right thing and be the person they always wanted to be, unfortunately, the doors and the windows are closed, and they have to just keep walking forward into a path that they don't like. They've somehow built a life around themselves that resembles more of a jail cell than a day-to-day living that they enjoy. And that's prison, man. You don't get to say no to a toxic boss. You can't say no to a lifestyle that doesn't fit you. And that's all because you're too scared to settle down. I want you to think about the difference between doom scrolling and actually going out and doing something. I know, crazy concept, like going out and touching grass. When you reclaim your health and your time, you actually have the energy to enjoy your 20s. You could be more mindful in it day to day. And all of a sudden, you notice that time starts to go a little bit slower. Think about the last time you went on a walk or a hike or a run. I bet you remember that very clearly. Now think about the last video you watched on TikTok. If you're anything like me, you can't remember it. And that's for a reason. It's worthless. Now things like gaming look a lot different than they did at 18 to me right now, because I'm doing it from a place of choice. This is the active hobby I want to take place in. It's coming from an esteemable place. It's not like an addiction or a dopamine loop. It's something I want to do with my time. And whether I let myself fully enjoy it because of bills, responsibilities, and obligations, that's between me and my own brain. But still, there's not anything quite like the feeling of closing your own front door to the house that you own, that you don't owe anything on, and knowing that everything inside the walls is your creation. It's your life. It's your decision. Nobody else's. The stable relationship, the stable home, the sanctuary that you live in, and the health to actually appreciate and enjoy those things and take care of your mental health, that's just the ultimate goal here. The market and the economy is set up for you to fail, so at least you can come home to the 4 walls that give you purpose and give you pleasure. And whatever's going to happen with the economy is going to happen anyway, and you could just be the best prepared as you can. And if you're scared of losing your spark or losing your edge, I get it. It's fun. But adulthood's not really about losing your spark. It's about finally having fuel in the tank to keep the fire going sustainably. It's about realizing that the most fun you'll ever have, it's not found in a waiting room on a device or a debt-funded car that you're with somebody who you don't even like. It's found in the freedom of owning your time, owning your space, owning your people, and seeing the future that you actually picture, not the one that just happened. Us in Gen Z, we're not failing our 20s if we use them to build a launchpad into 30s or 40s or 50s. I totally understand the inclination to not want to move on. I totally understand the inclination to be nostalgic about the past or romanticize what was. But nobody's going to be there for you. Every time you go back to that memory, there's nobody standing there. And if you feel yourself having an inkling of, oh, maybe I should grow up a little, maybe I should, man up or be an adult, you're in the middle of a pivot point in your life, and you're probably realizing that the path everyone else is on, the debt or the scrolling, the passive consumption, they're working their way towards a dead end, for lack of a better term. And if you step off that path, you might be finally giving yourself a chance to see how good things can get.